election security and make sure we have a transparent, accessible process that people have confidence in. And so the bill I'm going to sign today really builds off the success that we had last year. And I think some of these things are going to be really, really significant. And so, yes, last year we did ban ballot harvesting, but I think the concern was that would the penalties be severe enough if somebody's going around collecting and trafficking these ballots to get like a misdemeanor? You know, that may be something that wouldn't be sufficient deterrence. And so in this bill, we actually increase penalties for ballot harvesting. We make it if you ballot harvest in the state of Florida, this is now a third-degree felony that you could be hit with. And so and I just think it's important. The secret ballot, you go into the polling place, you have a curtain or you have dividers, and you go and you make that choice yourself. You put it in the counter, and that's kind of how they do it. Well, when you do the absentee ballots, it's sent to your house. We need to do our best to make sure that that is a secret, private process. And if you have someone that can go collect dozens of ballots across an area, you wonder, how did those ballots get into that individual's hands? And it creates a lot of problems. So I think we're taking a very strong stand against ballot harvesting. I think it's justified, and I think that people can have confidence that if someone's voting absentee, they actually got the ballot and they actually sent it in. So we're very happy about that. And oh, by the way, last year's bill, which we got dinged on this one provision. We're going to win on appeal. But we got rid of these drop boxes in Florida where you just have drop boxes sitting around. Nobody knows what's going on. So you actually, you could just have a box somewhere in the middle of town. And so in Florida, you can request absentee, you can send it in the mail, or you can bring it to an actual election site during the hours of operation. To just have these things sitting around, I think, was not good. And so they're trying to mess with us in court, but I can tell you, even people that are on the opposite side of this looked at that judge's ruling and they say that thing is going to get it reversed. And so I feel very confident that we'll be able to do that well. We also strengthen voter ID for the mail-in ballots. The Department of State's actually going to study ways to do more in terms of some of the envelopes that are going to be done. And I think that that's something that we need to do. I mean, if you're getting an absentee ballot, then make sure that's your ballot. You go in to vote, and in the process, you show your ID to be able to get in the polling place. We want to make sure the same for the mail. We also, in this bill, even though they're supposed to, and look, some supervisors have done a really good job at cleaning the voting rolls, but not all of them have done it. This bill now requires them to clean their voting rolls every year. And so I think it's important. We're also, in this bill, broadening our prohibition against Zuckerbucks. And so what we did last year was say, okay, you cannot have private money going to the administration of the elections. But then what some of these elections offices were doing around the country is saying, okay, you can't do that, but we're going to take Zuckerbucks for legal expenses or all these other things. So we've expanded it like, no way, there's not going to be any nook and cranny. You are not getting Zuckerbucks in any of this stuff. And then probably the most significant part of this bill is you can sit there and say, no ballot harvesting, voter ID, all these things, clean the voter rolls. But how do you know that that's going to be enforceable? And the fact of the matter is, when people see something that they think may violate the law, if you call the supervisor of elections, well, they're not investigators. They're not law enforcement. But what are you going to do? You call like a state attorney's office? They're just not. They do other crimes. They're having to face someone robs a bank, all that other stuff. Some of them may not care as much about the election stuff. I think it's been mixed to how those reactions going to be. So we just want to make sure whatever laws are on the books, that those laws are enforced, and that if people know that we're going to enforce the law, I think everyone will be very happy. So we are creating, for the first time ever, in state government, an Office of Election Crimes and Security to be able to prosecute voter fraud. And at the end of the day, we want to be in a situation where everyone knows the rules. You are in Florida. This is very accessible to be able to do. And know the rules. Know that you can go vote in person. You can do absentee. What you can't do, collect a bunch of ballots and dump them somewhere. So I think it's good, and I think that this office will be very, very much appreciated, and it will allow us to have people who really specialize in election security and in election integrity. And so that's going to be getting off the ground very soon, and I think you're going to see people are really going to be excited. And so my message is just, I don't think there's any other place in the country where you should have more confidence that your vote counts than in the state of Florida, which is great. Well, we're happy to be joined. We've got a number of folks here that are going to be offering some thoughts on what they've been able to do. So we're going to bring up two of the key legislative leaders in this. First, Senator Simpson, then Danny Perez. This is not necessarily easy stuff to do. There's a lot of stuff that gets thrown around on these debates, and for 2 years in a row, Senator Simpson's been able to get across the finish line in the Senate in Florida two major pieces of election integrity legislation. So, Wilton?
Thank you, and how about America's governor here with us today, Governor DeSantis? The foundation of a free state and a free country are fair and secure elections. It's why Governor DeSantis and this legislature have worked so hard passing not one but two of the strongest elections bills in the nation. Voters expect the rolls to be accurate and their personal information to be protected. They want a clear process in place for investigating fraud and other irregularities so that every legal vote is counted. We have more and more people moving in and around the state every day, as well as more out-of-state groups attempting to influence the outcome of our elections. Our laws have to keep up with these changes. This bill sends a very strong message to those who want to stuff ballot boxes or manufacture votes. Stay out of Florida. Florida is free economically, Florida is free from indoctrination, and Florida will stay free because of fair, transparent, and secure elections. And I just want to reiterate, Governor Sanders did a great job talking about this bill, and I want to thank him for his steadfast leadership on this issue. Thank you, Governor.
Yep. Okay, joining us from down in Miami-Dade County is Danny Perez from the State House.
Thank you, Governor. And what I wanted to relay to you all is pretty simple. An issue like elections, the phone calls are astronomical, the emails are through the roof, the meeting requests are insane. And when you notice the kickback that you're getting, it means you're doing the right thing. And on this issue, the governor, the Senate, and the House, under their leadership, accomplished a huge goal across Florida. People said, do you really need to touch elections law? Yes, we do. Well, what are you going to do? I said, well, we're going to make sure that this state has the safest and most secure election laws in the entire country. And we are one step closer, and it is a step in the right direction under the leadership of these gentlemen behind me. So thank them. Give them a round of applause because they deserve it. You know, Speaker Sprowls, when he started this year, spoke about elections as well. And he made sure that ballot harvesting was never going to happen again, increasing this to a third-degree felony. I continue to get asked, is it necessary? And that has to be the common question that I've been asked the most. Is it necessary, a third-degree felony? Yes. Yes. Hell yes. It is necessary. So thank you guys all for coming out here, and thank you for supporting the House, the Senate, and the governor. Thank you very much.
Okay, Secretary of State in the state of Florida, Laurel Lee.
Well, thank you, Governor DeSantis, for your support, for your leadership, and it is such a pleasure to be here with all of you today. particularly because I look out here and I see so many faces of Floridians who have come to Tallahassee to meet with me to talk about elections because they are so passionate about ensuring that our state has the right laws, the right policies, and the right leaders to ensure our elections are done right. It is a credit to all of you that you're so committed to our process. Governor DeSantis made elections integrity a top priority from the beginning of his administration, taking steps to ensure that we invested in modernizing our voting equipment, that we had the strongest cybersecurity defenses, that we updated our voter rolls, and that we were providing transparency to Florida's voters. As Florida's chief elections official, I share the governor's strong commitment to elections integrity. It is the heart of what we do at the Florida Department of State. Together with our 67 supervisors of elections, we work every day to ensure that our elections are secure, that they are accurate, and that they are timely. I am most excited about the establishment of the Office of Election Crimes and Security at the Department of State. This is a testament to the commitment of our governor and our legislature to ensuring that our elections continue to stay secure and continue to meet the highest standards of integrity. This office will allow us to do even more to work with our partners in law enforcement and ensure that we are able to investigate any allegations of fraud or impropriety, that we're able to investigate any physical threats to voters or election officials, and that we're able to keep our cybersecurity defenses strong. We want to ensure that anyone who comes to Florida to engage in elections-related activities is following our law. And we want every Floridian to know that elections integrity will remain a cornerstone of this administration. The Florida Department of State and our 67 supervisors of election stand ready to defend Florida's voting systems, our elections officials, and our voters. In Florida, we make it easy to vote but hard to cheat. And we want to ensure that every Floridian can have confidence that in Florida, we do elections right. Thank you to Governor DeSantis and to our legislative leaders for ensuring that we have the support and the resources to continue to lead the nation in elections integrity.
Now, this doesn't deal with voter registration, but I will tell you, people always ask how, we've led the country in net in-migration since COVID, and sometimes people are like, well, who's coming? What's the issue? Are they gonna, because you'll have some people that will leave some of these really bad states, and then they'll vote the same way that they came from the state, and then so that's what you don't want. Well, when I got elected governor, there were almost 300,000 more registered Democrats in the state of Florida than Republicans. Today, there are over 120,000 more registered Republicans than Democrats. And we never had more Republicans in the history of the state until I became governor. So I just think that that's interesting. I think people do appreciate a free state, and I think they appreciate a lot of what we've been able to do. I also just would like to point out, we had a special session of the legislature last week. And we did the legislature passed a couple bills that I signed, a few bills. One was on the congressional districts. One was on some of these special districts, like you saw with Reedy Creek, that was basically run by Walt Disney Company. And that was really the first step in what's going to be a process to make sure that Disney should not run its own government. Disney should not be exempt from the laws that every single person in Florida has to pass. And some people are trying to say somehow that they would get a tax break out of not having their special treatment. Trust me, under no circumstances will Disney not pay its fair share of taxes when this is done. people have also said that somehow, because they've been able to run up tax-free debt with these bonds, that somehow the bonds are going to get dumped on a truck. No. Under no circumstances will Disney be able to not pay its debts. We will make sure of that. Do not worry about that. I'd also just like to say that the Florida, we have almost a $200 billion pension system for our state employees, and I don't make investment decisions on it, but I'm part of a board of administration that oversees it. Our board of administration has invested in Twitter stock, and so last week they sent a letter to the board of directors just saying, look, Elon Musk is putting a very good offer on the table, and you better have a good business reason why you're not doing it, because if it's for politics, we're going to hold you accountable. Well, I'm glad to say that it appears that the Twitter board of directors has accepted Elon Musk's offer. And I just think it's very telling that you have some of these legacy media outlets in D.C. and New York saying that this is such a bad thing because Musk believes in free speech. But it shows you what they've used these tech platforms to do. When these platforms first came on the scene, they billed themselves as being open platforms, as letting people share ideas. Indeed, they were used to go around a lot of those failed legacy media outlets like NBC and CNN that nobody trusts anymore. And yet it seems like over the last 5 or 6 years, these big tech companies, including Twitter, have gone from being open platforms to being enforcers of the narrative. And if you dissent from that narrative, you can be silenced. You can be deplatformed. If you report things that are inconvenient to the narrative, like the New York Post did with Hunter Biden, they will take it down or freeze your account. If you do satire that bites too hard, like the Babylon Bee did, they will freeze your account. And so that is not healthy for a free society. And so my hope is that with Elon Musk taking this private, he's going to open it up and let people be able to speak. And here's all I know. The people that want to enforce orthodoxy and want to stifle dissent, they only do that because they know their ideas cannot stand scrutiny. They know that if people are able to speak their mind, that people will reject these phony narratives that they're always trying to shove down our throats. And so I think it's an important step. I look forward to seeing what ends up coming. I mean, not that it's the most important platform. There's a bunch of other platforms. But I think this is a blow for free speech. And I can tell you just from the shareholders' perspective in our state board of administration, we are 100% supportive of what the Twitter board of directors did to accept Elon Musk's offer. All right, well, it's time to make it official, so we're going to go ahead and put the John Hancock on this. And all right, so Perez, you want a pen? Yes. Who else wants one? Laurel?
Yes, please.
What is today's date?
25th.
25th?